With 2 of my doe tags filled already, we hoped Kay would get a chance to knock down a big doe with a smoke pole in the early muzzleloader season. We had deer in sight before getting set up on our first sit. After this quick encounter with 2 young deer, we'd spend hours in the woods the rest of the week and never see another deer. I was excited to get back in the tree stand with my bow the next week, but much like the previous week, I'd spend hours in the stand with almost no action. Despite the lack of excitement for 2 weeks, we're heading into the final few days of October, and I know the action is about to heat up.
It is Halloween, Tuesday, October 31st, and I'm super excited to be in this tree stand. I hunted this last year a handful of times around this time of year, and I had multiple good encounters with bucks, but they just wouldn't come in range, so I came down in here about 4 days ago and moved this stand over to where the bucks seem to be traveling, where all the deer seem to go that I would see. They traveled right along the edge of all this thick brush, and if they would do that now, I'd have a nice 15-20 yard shot. So that's what I'm hoping for. Just a great spot down in here that I try not to come down into in the earlier part of the year. So it's always exciting when the rut's here and you just feel like you can push into those areas that you don't hunt most of the year. So super excited, and we got about 3 hours until dark. It's about 42 degrees, the lows in the mid-20s tonight, so temperature's already dropping. I think we're gonna have a good sit, but we'll see what happens. There's gotta be a 140 just running in after that, I'm telling you. Much at the beginning, but the last 45 minutes or so had my heart pounding. Had that doe and 2 fawns but I never even considered shooting because I knew they got chased to me by a buck, and I could hear another buck grunting coming from the other direction. I didn't know what those were going to be. The one that actually came in here, I think it was just a spike, something really little, and then the one that actually pushed them, I never did get a good look at it, but yeah, there was at least some excitement there. It was pretty cool. It's supposed to be even colder tomorrow, so hopefully I can get out and maybe we'll capitalize on this early rut movement. It's Wednesday, November 1st. I'm set up in the same spot as I was yesterday. It's about 10 till 4, so we got close to 3 hours of light left. I'm hoping we get movement a little bit earlier today and maybe a bigger buck. I watched the footage back from yesterday, and that there was a buck that showed up right before dark. I couldn't tell what it was. I got just enough footage of it to be able to see it. It was a 4-point that's like 16 inches wide. So I thought it might have been a big one, but hopefully big ones show up today. It's about 35 degrees right now. Temperature's dropping. We got some snow last night. Just seems like a really good evening for deer movement. The spot seems pretty promising, so I'm gonna sit back here and see what happens this evening.
As it was getting close to dark, a young buck chased a doe past my stand. My camera dropped down as I reached for my bow, and when I got the camera back up, there was a shooter buck about 60 yards away. Unfortunately, legal shooting light had just ended, and all I could do was watch him disappear.
Well, we're just at the end of legal shooting light here. It at least got a little bit exciting there at the end. I had that real little buck. I don't know if it walked past me twice, if there was two that were basically the same size. There must be a little scrape down there because the buck walked past it, hit it both times. But then he was working its way up over the hill here just a few minutes ago. And then a bigger buck was chasing a doe down towards me. And then once the little buck saw it, it started chasing the doe. So I got a little bit excited, but then the bigger buck just chased the little one off and then ran after the doe again. Never came closer than maybe 50 or 60 yards, but I don't think I got it on camera. And once I actually got a look at it, I think it might have just been that 4-point that I saw last night. That's like 16 inches wide. It had a noticeably deeper grunt than that little guy. But, yeah, it's exciting stuff, that's for sure. Just got to get a little bit of a more mature buck and a little closer. But I got a long walk out of here, so gotta back up and hike up the hill. It's Thursday, November 2nd. I'm set up in a stand about 120 yards from the stand I was in the last 2 evenings. I got off work a little bit later today as I wasn't able to make it any further than this. Only got about an hour and a half until dark, so I didn't want to push down into the woods at all. So just hunting the field edge here. This is a spot where in the past couple years deer would really frequent, and there's apple trees about 75 yards from me that weren't loaded with apples, and I think there's still a fair amount left, so that should be drawing the deer up here if nothing else. And I actually think I hear something right now, so I'm gonna make this quick, but I haven't hunted this spot this year. Pretty excited to be here. I'll see if we can make something happen on this quick hunt.
Shortly after this young buck hit the field, I could tell by his body language that things were about to get interesting. I quickly decided that I would take a shot at either of these bucks if I got a chance. With 45 minutes of light remaining, I was hopeful that that chance would come. I began focusing on this buck after the other one went back towards the young does in the field. But once he looked up in that direction, I realized the other buck was making a beeline towards my stand.
Huh? Gosh. Man, I don't know about that shot. He was pumping a lot of blood when he was running away, but it was far back. I think he was quartering away just a hair, but it didn't get great penetration either. Watch the footage back. It's better than I thought. I think we got us a dead buck. I still gotta give him some time though. It definitely could have been a little bit further forward, but the way he stopped, he had his back leg forward and his front leg back, so there wasn't a very big window there. But he was pumping blood. I think I should have got lungs. Super excited, man. Should be my first buck since, I think, 2017. He's by no means a giant, but a solid BA buck from what I could tell. If it gets me worked up like this, man, I'll take that every day. Alright, we just got down here. I'm gonna walk up here before dark and see what the blood looks like. Just leave this can of dope here at the last blood. See if we can't get us a buck. That was actually that other nice buck that I just spooked right there. But hopefully we got him.
I headed back to the house to get some help, and then we returned to start tracking the buck about an hour and a half after the shot. Alright, this is where I dropped the dope pecan to mark the last spot of blood. He walked right down in through here, well, ran down in through here. There's a decent amount of blood on all this grass sticking up, so we'll pick the trail up from here and hopefully come up with a buck. With TJ behind the camera, Kay and I followed the trail, hoping the buck wouldn't be far.
This has to be him stumbling.
Just picking up.
This looks like long blood down here. Two.
There's so many tiny branches and stuff. I don't think you'd see that knock till you're 5 feet away.
I see a knock right now.
You see a knock? Is it sticking up?
I can't tell. I just see the green. It's like maybe.
After seeing the lighted knock, I felt confident that we had just found my buck. I knew the arrow had stuck in him, and he had lost a lot of blood. We walked towards the knock in hopes that my buck was dead. As we approached the knock, we found the arrow suspended in some briars with no deer in sight. I began to wonder if we were tracking a live buck.
I mean, it got in him. Well, the blood was probably running down him, I guess.
Yeah, spraying out, yeah.
Since the buck was losing more blood where we found the arrow, we decided to push forward just a bit more. But we knew we were running the risk of bumping a live buck.
Well, unfortunately, we got to make the decision I didn't want to make. We're still following half decent blood, but we're pushing 300 yards trailing this thing, so if it's a single lung hit, which likely that's what it is, these things can run a long ways. I think we back out now. He's probably bedded down there somewhere and he's going to die, so we either give it a couple hours or maybe just come back in the morning. Probably look back at the shot some more and see what we want to do about that, but unfortunately we're heading back up over the hill empty-handed tonight, but hopefully it's the smart decision.
I watched the footage back at least 50 times. The shot was obviously not perfect, but I couldn't help but think my buck was dead.
Alright, well, this is where we were with the last blood here. Like I said before, the blood was still looking okay. It's just we'd gone far enough that we didn't want to risk it, so it's now been about 4.5 hours since the shot, so we're feeling fairly confident he should be dead down here, so we're going to keep following the blood trail right from here.
After covering another 30 yards, we heard some rustling in the leaves just ahead. I tried to get eyes on it, but then decided to just kill the lights. The noise stopped, and we waited silently for about 20 minutes.
Oh man. Backing out was definitely the right move on this guy. I mean, I'm picking up his head here. It's not really all that stiff, so that was definitely the right call. I didn't want to do that, but I think we really could have messed that up if we wouldn't have made that call. So yeah, I gotta get this guy tagged. I'm just thrilled. I haven't killed a buck since, like I said, I think 2017, so it's been a long dry spell. It just feels great to finally have another buck on the ground in PA. Yeah, buddy.
Congratulations.
Well, after 7 years of not filling a single buck tag, this just feels amazing to be sitting behind this guy right now. I honestly can't even believe it. After so long of it not happening, sometimes you just wonder if it's ever going to happen again. But just a great buck. He's not huge, but when you go in a dry spell like that, it just feels awesome to get one on the ground again. And he's just a huge bodied deer. He's gonna have a lot of meat on him. That's really important for us, just feeding our families with the meat that we get from these deer. And I'm just stoked to take this buck. Third deer tag is punched. It's November 2nd. And yeah, just an all-around great hunt. Getting to watch this buck and the other nice one that came out chasing does around. Just a awesome hunt and an awesome ending here at 1 o'clock in the morning after that long wait to get this guy. It was worth the wait, and I'm just a super happy hunter right now.
While I'm not proud of the shot, I could not be more proud to tag this buck. When all of the hours put in finally pay off, it's a feeling that's hard to replicate. After my best archery season to date, Kay is up to bat first for PA's rifle season.